to watch out for here. And as we can see, obviously the coach, Tato Hrabe, definitely one that plays an attacking style of football. Maindis as well, Mfati Mutasa and Tebogo Mnisi leading the front line and helping out at the back, of course, Mugai as well as Tabana and Taledi all the way at the back in the goalkeeping position. So a lot riding on this encounter. Sibu Mabuza, the coach for Maindis, will be hoping for a good early start from his team.
Eqhude manikiniki izindala zombili ke la Free State Goble Park njengoba ke sibabona ke okapteni kanjalo ke nabo ke laphana ke onompempe athi sibheke nje ukuthi ke iCeltic namhlanje izodlala kanjani. Badlala ke i4-4-2 epalini ukhona ugoalkeeper wabo uMoletsane ke ovimba kahle kakhulu, kanti ke ngakwesokudla ke laphana ke kwi-right back Priscilla Apesa 24 years naye futhi ukhona ke laphana ke kuyona ke iBloemfontein Celtic, kanti ke ima-Indies yona badlala ke i4-3-3 nakhona ke uThiledi bamethembile epalini, bese kuba khona ke uShamiso Mutasa omgadli ke abamethembile laphana ke phambili ukuthi ke abashayele ke amagoli, kanti ke futhi mobheka amabhentshi amabili alamaqembu uyabona ukuthi ke liqinile kakhulukazi elayo ke iBloemfontein Celtic njengoba ke oJudith bekhona ke laphana ke ebhenchini. Yomqeqeshi ombonayo lapho escreenini sakho umqeqeshi ke wayo ke ima-Indies Sipho Mabuza ushilo ukuthi ke namhlanje bafuna ukuthi ke bathole ke amaphuzu amathathu ngoba emidlalweni wabo odlule badlale ke i-draw ka-1-1. Ingakho ke namhlanje sibabona ke bekhona ke la bezozama ukuthi ke bathole ke amaphuzu ke amathathu. Yabona manje sesilinde nje ukuthi unompempe athi ke alisuke lihlale ngoba isikhathi nomzuzu usufikile.
And as Maindis kicking off from left to right in that famous black and white strip, it's Bloemfontein Celtic playing against Maindis here at their alternative home ground here in Goble Park. And the home side will be eager to bounce back after their defeat against log leaders Mamelodi Sundowns, and for Maindis a chance to shoot ahead of their opponents on the table with the win here this afternoon. So a lot to play for this Sunday in the rather chilly and windy Free State, as referee Zane finally gets us underway, and possession is in the hands of Maindis, the away side, eventually going long, seeking the run there of Kumba, hugging that touchline, almost running out of space there. Bloemfontein Celtic doing really well eventually to intervene there, straight from the get-go, pumping that ball forward. And what that does allow is when you go long ball, you can win the second ball immediately in the opposition's half, as a throw goes in here for the away side, and it's slotted through. Bloemfontein Celtic eventually dealing with that one, eventually finding its way out of the field of play. Bloemfontein Celtic maybe caught off guard by that early Maindis onslaught, but now a thrown opportunity. They're really looking to settle themselves in that midfield to the likes of Slabo, as well as the captain, the number 21 on her back, in Ndlovu, but possession is lost. And now they take their time, going all the way back, looking to reconstruct once again and putting it forward, punting it forward, but an offside call there from the referee, just an early over-eager run there.
Both teams, they are playing a 4-3 formation. Obvious formation, it's about principles, about variations in order to get a game model. But the strength of this formation that both teams are using, it's in the midfield. You have three midfielders which are box-to-box, obvious deep-lying playmaker, and the attacking midfielder. So if you look at both teams, they say both coaches are saying they want to counter the counter-attack by applying a counter-pressing. So today we're expecting a lot of defensive actions from the both sides.
Makua is in here. She kept the ball in play, but to the disgust of the crowd, shouting at the referee, barking the orders that it is indeed out, and it is in fact a Maindis throw here. Decide to take their time, and it's that number 13 giving it away. Pesanel. Throw an opportunity here, early doors for Maindis, deep within their own territory, but a side that isn't afraid to go long when they need to, and they might be successful at it here. Almost getting through there Really biding their time here, or Bloemfontein Celtic, to finally get some sort of a feel of the leather. Eventually going all the way back to the goalkeeper and to the captain, Molet Sane, finding her centre-back partner, Mokota. Now in the midfield with Ntoane. And 3-4, Bloem Celtic, she's through. She has a shot on goal. And rather disappointing when the keeper there, Teledi, maybe expected something more ferocious. But nonetheless, Ramotewe,
she should have done better in that situation. I mean, the pass was vertical ball progression pass. I mean, in between the centre backs. I think for me, what's important was Ramoto needed to be, be precise in front of the box. I mean, she was not unmarked. She needed to calm herself down and pick a spot.
Early sight on goal for Bloemfontein Celtic, not quite going to plan, but it does show them, however, that it is relatively easy to get into that 18-yard box, as we can see a player going down there, but play does continue. She's looking to switch the play. Not quite on the same page there was Nicole Michael. And Bloem Celtic seem to be winning that second ball from the long ball, but now with the referee finally attending to the injured player. We saw in the previous encounter an early injury to Butamelo Muloti, the keeper of Tsunami Queens. And an injury can certainly affect the outcome of a game, but it shouldn't be too hard of a knock. We do expect her to find her feet shortly, but it is a tough one.
You speak about the importance of the mindset. I mean, if the players, if they see other player gets injured, obviously at the back of their head, it's about the thought processes. They think about it, what will happen, and they think about what if it was me. So sometimes the serious injury affects the mindset of the players. You've seen in the first game where the goalkeeper got injured, and you could see the players' mindset for close to 5 minutes. They were struggling with adjusting to the game because of being worried about whether I will get injured or not.
Sislabo there just tasting a stinging tackle there on her right foot, but she seems to be okay. She'll make her way onto the field of play just shortly as another offside flag goes up, and it's one offside each for both these teams, just flirting with different tactics here and different formations and trying to find the best solutions to unlock each defense. As we can see now, a throw-in on the far side of the field for Bloem Celtic. And they recover possession, but it's so important to keep the ball and make the ball do all the work for you. And Bloemfontein Celtic doing exactly that, just making the life of the captain there, Moletsana, just a little bit more difficult, but she's composed enough to find Nicole Michael now. She puts it forward, hooked yet again by Ntoane there. Bloemfontein Celtic winning that header in the center of the park. A team that isn't afraid to get physical when they're required to do so. A hard chase to the line there from Ukua, but she wasn't able to keep the ball in play there. Ntoane now with a throw-in. And they go long on that right-hand touchline, I beg your pardon, and it's one back. A nasty left foot she just needs to get unleashed when she has that opportunity. But it seems as if whenever my Indies win possession deep within their own territory, it's Route 1 football, and they just want to get rid of the football. Maybe by playing a couple of passes first, the spaces will open up.
Sometimes it's about how do you sprung to a counter attack. The reason they play the long ball, they want to quickly, rapidly move from defense to attack as quick as possible. Obviously, play the reference point, which is Mutasa, to hold up the play for them. Also, for the players to join Mfati and Mnisi.
Pumzile Mokwena, the centre back, making her way all the way to the other side of the field. Isn't afraid to journey in either direction. And it's one back. Very good header there by Ntoane. But a throw in here for Bloem Celtic, deep within their own territory. Decent enough start for both teams, still exchanging jabs, still feeling each other out. And a lot still to do, a lot of football more to play here this afternoon in the Free State. And it's conditions that you definitely can't get used to in the first couple of minutes. We saw the importance the substitutes have in a game like this, in conditions like these. Maybe players aren't as accustomed to these conditions, so the substitutes might prove to be the difference, as we saw with Ndlovu with the Durban ladies. But now Bloem Celtic, they have a ball through here, and it's that lady, Nicole Michael. She shifts it back onto her right foot, tries to find a pass, and the shot goes in, eventually evading the post there by Nomsheke. Early goal sight for her and for Bloemfontein Celtic, but blistering pace here on the left-hand side from Nicole Michael.
The coach spoke about the importance of the speedy wingers. Also, you want to stretch the block, you want to engage the offensive wing backs 1v1 because they've got a speed on the side. It's Michael and Mutlokwana. So the coach spoke highly about the wing play, which is important for his side, obviously, to try to unlock the block with the speed. And obviously, if you stretch the block, sometimes it opens those passing lanes.
Well, it's Sunny. Forced to work a little bit harder there to find a clearance to the goalkeeper, but the ball bobbling all over the show now. Eventually recovered from Maindi, struggling to tag them passes together, but it's eventually cleared away from Bloem Celtic, back towards the goalkeeper. Forced to restart play. Bloem Celtic, of course, a club founded in the year of 1997. Both teams have players that share their birthday mostly in the late 90s and early 2000s, so a young team that both these teams have fielded today.
It's important. I mean, remember, in football language, as soon as you reach 30, you've reached a hill. But I think for me, now all the teams now they're building their teams on the young players. I mean, that's the coach of my Indies. I think he spoke highly of the team that is in transition. He spoke about they are new in technical team, and obviously you can see they want to integrate the new players into the system.
Bloemfontein Celtic with a chance, a little ball over the top now. They are in here. Decent opportunity for this Bloem Celtic team to get onto that scoreboard early. A cross goes in, and well regathered there from the keeper. Kept her eyes on the ball, and relatively easy start for the goalkeeper there. Back to you, Tuli.
Esikhona ke ngempela ke la umdlalo ke wokugcina owayo ke impela sonto ngaphansi ke kwayo ke iHollywood Bet Super League iBloemfontein Celtic aneqembu ke ilayo ke iMadizi abukhoma ke ku SABC1 Mzansi for sure. Njengamanje ke izinto ke zime kanje iqanda kwiCeltic, iqanda futhi ke kuyona ke iMadizi. Uyabona ke kulomdlalo kudlala ke unumber 5 kanjalo ke naye ke unumber 7 njengoba simbona umqeqeshi la uThato Haraba, umqeqeshi ke weqembu ke elayo ke iBloemfontein Celtic ushilo ekhuluma ke novusiwe lapha ukuthi namhlanje ke bafuna ukuthi benze kangcono njengoba bebuya ke ekushaweni iqembu elayo ke iMamelodi Sundowns ngolwesithathu njengoba ke bedliwe ke ngawo ke u2-0. Namhlanje ke ukhona umqeqeshi ukuthi ke enze ke isiqiniseko sokuthi izinto ke ziyashintsha. Uzokhumbula ukuthi yokuqala ke eqenjini leCeltic le akade ke ebeyithola ke kuyona ke le season njengoba sebedlale ke imidlalo ke eyu8 bazithola ke behlezi ke laphana ke ku number 5. Yabona amancane nje amaphuzu ahlukanise ke lamaqembu njengoba ke ku2 points kuphela. iCeltic ina 15 points, iMa-Indies ina 13 points. iCeltic iluza umdlalo owodwa kanti ke banama draw amathathu. iMa-Indies yona baluze ke ama game amathathu base ke baba ke net draw eyodwa. Ingakho ke ngibona nje sengathi ke lo mdlalo othanda ukuthi ke kungacaci ukuthi eliphi iqembu ngempela ke elizohamba ke nawo ke lo 3 points. Yabona ke iMa-Indies umdlalo ke wayo ke wogcina badlale ke nayo ke iRichmond United. Lo mdlalo ke uphele ngedraw ka1-1. uPurity uyena ke oshaye ke igoli ke center back iyayo ke iMa-Indies oshaye ke igoli ke layo ke iMa-Indies. Kanti ke njengoba ke sengishilo ke iCeltic eguqiswe ke iqembu ke layo ke iSundowns ngamagoli ke amabili eqandeni. Asibone nje le khona umuhlakwana oyayidlala ke ukhetha ukuthi ke adlale nje ibe mfishane. Ebhola ke liyagojwa ke eboxini kodwa awuyavimba ke laphana ke Purity Mugayi. ebhola ke lide manje ke lapho phambili lihle futhi bafuna ke yena ke Shamiso Umutasa asibone manje elibhala engeliba kamnandi kodwa ke wasefika elungisa ke wonke ke umonakalo yena ke laphana ke ikidibone Mnisi njengoba ke elithatha ke ugoalkeeper Moletsane 4 clean sheets kule season uMoletsane. Amohlakwana ebhola ke lihle futhi onside ke yena lapha Mokhomotsi Ramuthwe Moletsane ke unama clean sheet ke amane kule season njengoba ke kuyena ke ukapteni yabona ngesikhathi bedlala neRichmond United bewina ke ngo-2-0 wenza umsebenzi omuhle kakhulu waphinda futhi bedlala ke ne-TUT umdlalo ke waphela ke nge-draw ka-not baphinda badlala ke ne-UJ bayidla ngo-3-0 badlala ke ne-UWC lo mdlalo ke waphela ke nge-draw ka-not engakho ke lo goalkeeper ke emuhle ke ngempela laphana ke epalini ke ilayo ke iCeltic throw in Shamiso Umutasa Onompempe uyakhuza unikeza i-free kick onikeza ke iqembu ke elayo ke iCeltic uDinewo Mufati ohlezi phansi oyakhala kodwa ke uthi ke Nompempe bengithi ke uzonikeza thina le free kick kodwa Onompempe uthi ke leli bhola ke akube ke elayo ke iCeltic goalkeeper ke confidence oyasuka uyodlala ke leli bhola Mokhulwa Onompempe ke futhi ke nangu ke ekhuza yabona ke mawubheka ke imidlalo ayeqembu ke elayo ke ima-Indies ngaphambi kokuthi ke beze nje kulomdlalo ke namhlanje bavula ke isizini ngemidlalo emithathu bedliwa ilandelana sokhumbula ke lapha eGiyani bedliwa ke ama-defending champions ayona ke iMamelodi Sundowns bashaya ke ngo-2-1 bakora qala kulo mdlalo Sundowns ke yaseke iyabuya eshaya ke amagoli ke amabili baphinda futhi basike beshawa ke iJVW ngo-2-0 baphinda ke bashawa ke i-first touch ngawo ke u-2-1 emva kwalokho ke baseke beyiqoqa bawina ke imidlalo ke yabamine baseke bedlala ke i-draw eyodwa asazi ke namhlanje ukuthi ke liyoshona ke nobani la eGoble Park yabona ke lenkundla mawukhumbula kahle inkundla eyayidlale kakhulu kudlala ke iFree State Stars ngaphambi kokuthi ke idliwe ke izembe ngiyathemba ukuthi no Dr Mnandi uke wagijima kuyona lenkundla
angimunyile thuli kule field le but what's important is ngishilo na ku first game ngathi isisu somhambi singakanani singangento yenyoni but iCeltic sisindwe ngobotshole namhlanje bafuna ukuyithatha ngenkani le 3 points bayazi ukuthi igame ezobabusa isithunzi sabo abaqalanga kahle mara mawubheka ne ball possession uyayibona ukuthi iCeltic iyayidominate iposition nge-53% but again iposition has to get you effectiveness fanele ukutholela ama goal fanele ikilise na ku final third lapha
iCeltic iyona ke emidlalweni asebeyidlalile iyona ke beqala ke iyona ke isizini ke bavula ngayo ke iwini ke yawo ke u2-0 beshaya ke iCoal City Wizards babuya ke bahamba ke baya ke eCape Town bafike badlala neVasco da Gama lo mdlalo ke bawunqoba ke ngo-3-2 uThembi Munyuku njengoba sibona iflag ke liphakama kuthiwa ke use offside Shamiso Umutasa uThembi Munyuku namhlanje umdlalo uqale ebhenchini uyena ke washaya ke igoli ke lokuqala uTebogo Mnisi okhona ke laphana ke enkundleni washaya ke igoli ke elesibili Shamiso Umutasa njengoba ke kuyena ke oqeda ke ukuthiwa ke use offside uyena ke owashaya igoli ke elesithathu baphinda futhi bahamba baya ke eUJ ababuya namaphuzu amathathu egcwele beyidla ke ngo-3-1 emva kwalokho badlala ke neTsunami Queens noma ubani ofuna u3 points nje uyawuthola kwiTsunami Queens njengoba ke kumdlalo ke wanamhlanje ebedliwe ke ngawo ke u3-1 nabo ke bafike bayishaya ke ngo-5-2 wachikumbu Omayithe Makoro wafike washaya igoli bese kuba ke uyena ke uDinewo Mfati oThembu Munyuku njengoba esebhenchini washaya ke amagoli ke amabili kuloyo mdlalo asibone ke electro ball enhle wasikaza ugoalkeeper ama-Indies ingene eboxini yinhle icross lapha oyasebenza kodwa ke emuva Purity Mugayi oyakhipha ke ibhola ke Celtic laphana ke emaphakathi ke nenkundla bazama ke ukuthi ke baye phambili Mohlakwana asibone ukuthi ke uzokwenza njani Mohlakwana kodwa uyashelela uyawa yena ke lapha uMohlakwana kuthiwa ke akube i-throw in ezothathwa ke iyona ke iBloemfontein Celtic yabona ke lamaqembu womabili ama ubheka nje ukuthi ke ngesizini edlule badlale kanjani iCeltic ewawine ke womabili ama games awoqala ekhaya bawina ke ngo-2-0 bahamba ke baye eGiyani bafike bayishaya ke ngo-3-2 ama-Indies lokho nje kuyakutshela ukuthi ke ima-Indies ngesizini edlule ilahlekelwe nje u6 points yawuthatha ke iCeltic nayi futhi ngakwesokunxele iyona ke iCeltic Nicole Michael cela indlela Michael nangeyiphasa kahle Michael unikeza Lorraine Makhwali lase ke liphunyuka ke ibhola ke layo Celtic kodwa ke iyayiqoqa futhi Thabana bayiqala laphana ke emuva Nicole oyakhuza ke uNompempe onikeza ke leyona ke iqembu ke le Celtic free kick
ima-Indies edlala ngegeja kuziliwe badlala i-high line and sometimes abayenzi ngokulingana kwabo because ububheka kahle sometimes the high line isebenza Julimani sibiza ukuthi synchronized. They hold the high line. If there's no pressure ebholweni whenever we throw a high line because if you're going to hold the high line they play ibhola emva kwe defense uzobhekana nenet.
Mohlakwana 6 goals kule season ona 21 years ke uyena ke ozothatha ke ele free kick yena ke i-top goal scorer iyeqembu ke layo ke laphana ke iCeltic njengoba iphakamisa kodwa ephelela ke obala ke leya free kick ugoalkeeper oyayithatha nje kalula othileti 30 years ugoalkeeper ke weqembu ke layo ke laphana ke ima-Indies uyaxolisa Chikumbu 3 goals kule season Chikumbu yena ke abamthembile ke kanjalo ke naye ke lapha uShamiso uMutasa laphana ke phambili asibone nje la njengoba ke kuthiwa ke abazoliphosa ke lebhola kodwa nje uthatha ke isikhathi esakhe ke lapha Madembe Chikumbu throw in nikeza ke ukapteni laphinde ke laphumela ke ngaphandle and not ma-Indies and not Bloemfontein Celtic.
The Free State has, of course, played host to some mouth-watering ties in the last couple of weeks, with the provincial derby only taking place but a fortnight ago. Tsunami Queens surprised some by taking an early 2-goal lead. As we can see now, Bloemfontein Celtic just dealing with the threat there from ma-Indies as Nicole Michaels gives it back to one of her centre-backs who clears it forward. The threat, however, is nowhere gone just yet. But just returning to that, Tsunami Queens did take a 2-goal advantage against Bloemfontein Celtic. However, in the second half, a resurgent Bloemfontein Celtic side returned and snatched back that lead to end off the scoreline in what was an enthralling game of football that ended 2-2 and could have gone either way. But it's a game that definitely will be remembered in the hearts of the locals here in the Free State. As the referee says, it's a corner there for ma-Indies. And the centre-backs now with Mugayi as well as Tabana will be making their way up to that 18-yard area. They'll be licking their lips with an opportunity to potentially get their head on a delicious cross from Chikumba. A player that isn't afraid to hop on over to either side, to either flank as he puts it in now. It's an in-swinging delivery. And a rose up there, the header just going wide. As we can see there,
a good standard situation. Shabalala connected with it, but the problem there was pressure on her. There's a bit of nudge. That's why she didn't get a clear connection with the ball.
An early pressure applied there to Taledi. She does get it away to Mnisi, trying to find Nicole Michael there. Bloem Celtic, of course, deep within their own territory. Makua with a throw in now, very well gathered. Pass options are overflowing and in abundance here for Bloemfontein Celtic. They're just taking their time, just trying to go long. They're just not quite coming off, and the through here, my Indies, they might profit off some mistakes from Bloemfontein Celtic here. Just finding support, the long ball. It does go over now to the far side, to the near side of the field, I beg your pardon, and trying to shift it in between the legs there. Nosheke just not quite managing to thread the ball through there and get an opening and goal. Hold to retreat a couple of yards backwards from the linesman there. Bloemfontein Celtic now escape with the ball in their own territory. Makwali now all the way to the other side of the field with Pesa weighing up her options back into the center of the midfield. Now out wide to Makua from the throw-in, now to the left-hand flank. She does thread a ball through to Nicole Michael, who wants to isolate her defender. Not quite managing to do so. Doubling up there. Nicole Michael has found some room here. She's putting the ball. Very well defended there eventually from the Indies. And it's broken through here for Bloemfontein Celtic. Shot on goal, but unfortunately, straight to the goalkeeper, straight to Taledi. Swallows it up. Pretty easy there.
It looks pretty easy, but there's a lot of work that has been put behind. But you see what's also
defender that isn't afraid to travel with the ball at her feet upfield, as Nicole just makes a dummy run there. Of course, and Bloemfontein Celtic now trying to find a cross into that box, just maneuvering some space. Little lovely reverse ball. She's onside. It's that number 11, of course, I beg your pardon, it is offside, just sneaking ahead of that final defender. She does have 6 goals to her name, does Mohlakoana. So she'll be hoping to add to that lead there, but
at the time of the pass was played, she was onside. I thought that I was talking to a match commissioner about these offside incidents. I mean, the timing, he spoke about it's a work in progress. I mean, he's still doing a lot of workshops for referees to understand the offside, because sometimes they just give an offside because there's a player who comes behind the player.
Rather disappointing, but you do need to accept the fact that this league has been going through the stages and progress. As we can see now, Nicole Michael getting past there, shifting it onto her left foot, making a journey into that 18-yard area. My Indies really struggling to deal with the threat that Nicole Michael does possess, but they slot it through here. They're forced to retreat themselves now, eventually all the way back to the young goalkeeper, the young captain, Moletsane, who gives it away once more to my Indies. 26 minutes gone and the score is still 0-0. Nothing much between these two teams. But both are willing to put their bodies on the line when it comes to the defense, just not quite finding the finishing touch in attack. As we can see, a long ball through to Nicole Michael. She has isolated Pesa, gets the shot away, but a good block there. Of course, Nicole Michael, 2 goals to her name, so she'll be hoping to add a little spice here this afternoon in the Free State.
With your technical skill, you want to encourage it to deal with 1v1. You want to isolate the wing back. So give more of the ball to Michael. Obviously, tell her take the player on. It's important because you wanna eliminate also the numbers. But from where I'm sitting, I believe that Bloemfontein Celtics, the coach has already understood what I was talking about. That he needs to tell Michael to say and encourage her to deal with 1v1s. The terms of passing, it's there, but sometimes the player needs just to eliminate players.
Makua as well as Nicole Michael are playing very well together here on the left-hand touchline. Nicole Michael shifting to the other side of the field, usually applying her trade on the right-hand flank, this time on the left. As we can see now, Bloemfontein Celtic are in here. Nicole Michaels was in the box. She has made her way in there now, getting a shot away. Maybe just arriving a little bit too late there, but nonetheless, Nicole Michael gets a shot on goal. And it was that lady again, Mohlakoana, on the other side of the field, finding her partner in crime, finding her striker with her. And
this is what I was talking about with Celtics white players, Mohlakoana and Michael. You're going to see a lot of those dynamics and all that threat from the white areas for Michael and Mohlakoana. So Celtics, they need to use more of the white areas because that's where they get a lot of joy. That's where they get progression.
Of course, my Indies hailing from Limpopo. It's quite a travel here to Bethlehem, but a player out. Just seems as if she's taken a hit to her hip area there. Mokwena, and clearly in pain, in agony, going down onto the field. It does look like quite a painful one, that one.
Again, it's a knee on her back, if you look at it. But obviously unintentional, they're just going for the ball.
Clearly in pain there is the young Pumzile Mokwena, defender of the Bloemfontein Celtic, a defender that isn't afraid to put her body on the line when required. And Bloem Celtic definitely pride themselves, although they play an attacking 4-3-3 formation, they pride themselves on a strong foundation at the back, and from there they can build and bring the likes of Nicole Michael as well as Mohlakoana into play.
It's about what the coach is all about. I mean, if you look at how he speaks about he wants to dominate ball possession. Sometimes the coach, you see from how the team plays, very brave. He wants to keep ball possession regardless of the results. And sometimes good teams, whether they play bad, but you can see that they were striving. They were trying to keep ball possession. Especially you look at Celtics, they've been doing it very, very well. They just need to find that progression. But the progression for me, it's on the white areas, which is Michael and Mohlakoana.
Nicole Michael just keeping Mnisi on her toes here throughout this encounter. She hasn't quite managed to break the deadlock. She's been flirting though, however, has Nicole Michael. And the opportunity will soon find itself in her hands. I'm sure of that. It's just a matter of time if she can find that finishing touch. But another player down. But yet again, another injury here. Seems as if it's another head collision, a shoulder to the head. And both players are really willing to, both sets of teams are willing to contest the ball in the air.
Fight for lost causes. You also fight for the lost causes. Is it? I said it even in the first game. It's in the line of duty.
Awuphumela ke ngaphandle ke yena ke uShamiso uMutasa othintekile ke laphana ke ekhanda ke asithembe nje uyabuya khona ke injury ke ebhlungu esibone emidlalweni ke wayo ke iTsunami Queens neDurban Ladies ngesikhathi ke goalkeeper eshayeka kabuhlungu laphana ke uMolotsi waze kwaphoqa ukuthi ke ayesibhedlela njengoba ke naye ke ethinteka ekhanda la uMutasa kodwa ke uyaqhubeka nje uyabuya ke enomdlalo isikoko sewunot uyabona ke mawubheka lamaqembu ukuthi ke mawubheka amagoli ukuthi bawashaya kangakanani nokuthi ke mangakanani abawadedelayo futhi ke ngemuva ima-Indies kule season ke emidlalweni ke ewu8 njengoba bedlala ke oka9 namhlanje sebeshaya ke amagoli ke awu16 badedela ke awu12 kanti ke iCeltic yona isishaya ke amagoli ke awu14 badedela ke awu7 yabona ke ukuthi ke idefense yeCeltic ngempela ke ithanda ukuthi ke iqine njengoba ke ebethola ke i-corner kick abayo ke laphana ke ama-Indies naba ke basondela nje ukuthi ke ayoyithatha ke leya khona ngibona ke uMadembe eChikumbu oyena ke oyoyithatha ke leya khona unamagoli amathathu kuyona ke le season ke uMadembe eChikumbu khona yesibili eyema-Indies iyodwa akuyona ke iTsunami nakhe manje ugoalkeeper ebamba elimphunyuka kodwa ibhola ke yaphinda yadefenda ke kahle kakhulu ke emuva ke iBloemfontein Celtic asibone ukuthi uthini unompempe lapha kuthiwa bayaphusha kuthiwa ke bayaphusha ngaleyo ndlela ke lela bhola ke lizobuya ke kube ke elayo ke iBloemfontein Celtic uhlezi phansi ugoalkeeper uyabona ke ngesikhathi kade ke kushawa ke leya khona goalkeeper ngesikhathi ke ebamba ibhola elimphunyuka abamphushile ingakho ke manje ke ethintekile ke ehlezi phansi ke yena ke ugoalkeeper athi siphinde sibheke nje le khona ukuthi uthinteke kanjani ugoalkeeper nakho labo emthinte khona
beyikhona ipush lapha Thuli beyikhona bamthintile nyana ugoalkeeper lapha but bengifuna ukuhighlighta into important I mean mangabheka ima-Indies njoba igame seyiqalile I mean 33 minutes igame iqalile but iside labo elibabhadalayo leli kumnisi ubheke i-relationship kaMnisi nomnisi on the side number 6 no number 13 ubabheke kahle ubudlelwane babo buyenza ukuthi bathole progression eceleni ngapha but uMutasa phambili is ushaya imoto man ushaya imoto 2.0 if iSeltic ambhekanga uzobashiya.
Let's go high Nicole Michael anangu uMichael udlala kahle kakhulu ngalanga kwesokunxele ebavala ebavula ebaphasa kahle futhi uMichael obheke nje yena ke uMichael ugijima ngakwesokunxele kodwa udlala ngeenyawo ke ezombili yena uMichael uyena ke ufaka kakhulu amabhola lapha eboxini njoba iCeltic kuyiyona ethanda ukuvakasha kakhulu kuleli yapali lakhe umonye eThiledi njoba umbona enza ke isave double save yena ke uThiledi okay wagijima ke nakuyona ke ihatlana ladies khona ke laphana ke eLimpopo yabona ke masakhuluma ke ngamagoli Sundowns ke iyona ke enabadlali ke abashaya ke amagoli akumangazi ukuthi ke balaphana ke phezulu kuyona ilokho iSundowns ngoba ke abadlali bayo amagoli ke bayawashaya andisiwe Mgcoyi aboyitumelo oRabale ansiwe 11 goals bese kuthi ke uRabale ukhona ke laphana ke emva kwakhe futhi Anthabise ke Magia ano Gabriela Salgado bobabili ke bana 7 goals. Abese kuthi ke ona 6 goals ke uyena ke la uMohlakwana amgadli ke uwaqembu ke elayo ke iCeltic uqoka unumber 11 nje uzombona ukuthi abelishaya igoli ke udlala kahle kakhulu nayi ke ifree kick abayinikeza yona futhi ke iBloemfontein Celtic alungisa ke udonga lwakhe la uMonye Thiledi akubeke akawenzanga ke lama save ke sowabonile ngabe ke sikhuluma enye indaba awuyena ke la uMohlakwane ofuna ke ukuyithatha le free kick uyayiphakamisa ke Mohlakwane kodwa uyifaka esikhwameni nje kalula ke goalkeeper muhle yabona uyazethemba uyena ke la uThiledi ebhola nje ulibamba lithule lithi nje du uyayazi into ayenzayo cishe ibhola ke libadlule ke lapha ke emuva kodwa abayifunda kahle igame Purity Mugayi ebenaye ke uThabana ohlezi phansi emakhwali Lorraine amakhwali iyaphuma ke iyellow card Chikumbu oyena ke abamnikeza ke iyellow card eyokuqala ke kulomdlalo njengoba ke ebeyidlala ke le free kick abayo ke iCeltic banikeza yena futhi ke Lorraine amakhwali Nicole nanga manje shintsha uhlangothi uyadlula uyagoba yinhle cross lapha sebenza ugoalkeeper enhle isave Nicole ushintsha othi manje ungale ngakwesokudla kodwa usadala umonakalo ofanayo
bamnika ibhola bathi hamba uyobhadala hamba umosha sobhadala beka i-cross yakhe but good save from uTheledi la goalkeeper I think uTheledi's strength sakhe has been positioning uzipositiona kamnandi Julie lapha yana
akhona iCeltic 2 amakhona ayayiphakamisa ifuna amakhanda ehlangana ke nekhanda lakhe Thabana bayayixosha badefenda kahle kakhulu abema Indies naba manje ke bafuna lapha ke Mnisi ibhola ke lide liyamshiya ke Odinewo umfati lizobuya ke elizophoswa unegoli elilodwa ekuyona ke lesizini ke Odinewo umfati 24 years iminyaka ke yakhe ke Edinewo umfati umqeqeshi Sipho uMabuza wathola ired card ngesikhathi ke bedliwa ke iJVW ayena ke lapha umqeqeshi ngoba wayelwa lapha ebenchini thethisa nje ama officials base ke bemnikeza ke ired card okhona ke namhlanje la enkundleni uyena ke hola ke iqembu lakhe Mohlakwana walahli Mohlakwana lahlangana noDinewo umfati oyagoba kodwa ke eliphumela ke ngaphandle enye ke i-throw in Madembe Chikumbu throw in uyayiphosa ekhona kodwa ke bengenasidingo yakhona njengoba ke sekufanele ke babuye ke bazomaka emuva ke abayo ke laphana ke iCeltic uNomonde enomcheke oyena ke okade ke imaka ke leli bhola sibonele khona isithathu Chikumbu futhi ke uyena ke oyithathayo uyayiphakamisa ke yinhle ayaphuma ugoalkeeper wayibamba kamnandi wacambalala phezukwalo ke yena ke uMoletsane kapteni weqembu ke layo ke iCeltic nangu umuntu ehlaselisa bo kodwa ke ugoalkeeper ukhona ke la uThiledi 30 years ugoalkeeper awayo ke ima Indies Mohlakwana oyivala kamnandi uyabheka Mohlakwana leya phasi kodwa nje iyahamba iya nje ngqo kugoalkeeper ayimhluphi ke nakancane ke yena ke uMonye Thiledi Mohlakwana 29 years 6 goals akuyona ke le season yabona ke ama passes Celtic 66 ama passes asebewenzile kanti ke ima Indies ina 49% njengoba ke manje sibheke laphana ke kumzuzu ke ka-40 kapteni Viola walahla uViola Lorraine naye ke waphinde ke walahla iyaqoqa iyalungisa manje ima-Indies ama-long ball ke eyona nto engathi bayikhonzile ke laba ke ebema-Indies asibone nje lo mnyakazo ke wabo kodwa liyalahleka ke ibhola 5 minutes manje ukuthi ke siye ke ekhefini siyobuya ke namaqhinga amasha egoli asikakaliboni la eGovu Park.
40 minutes gone in this encounter and still no goals to show for either side. As we can see now, a throw-in on the near side of the field. Chikumba, a constant threat down this right-hand flank. Bloemfontein Celtic, of course, still operating in 5th position, 2 points shy. To have a sniff at goal. 4 minutes still to go in expected stoppage time. Chikumba with yet again another opportunity to throw it in, but tackles on either side flying in, 12 to my Indies and 10 to Celtic. So both sets of teams not afraid to get down and dirty in that midfield and defend their goal line, whatever it takes, as a throw goes in and the bicycle kick attempt there. Rather flamboyant stuff from my Indies. All the way to the other side of the field now. And back to that young goalkeeper, of course, Moletana. Clears it upfield, trying to find the runners. That is Nicole Michael and Mosakwana. And now Nicole Michael on that right-hand flank. Isolating her defender, keeping her interested. Shifting it back onto her left foot and taking a tumble there in the box. But eventually, my Indies not quite escaping then. Bloemfontein Celtic might just be in here. And it's a corner once more. Bloemfontein Celtic sniff an opportunity here to sneak ahead in the final minutes of this half. Nisi, the player down for my Indies. Of course, the previous results have included the win against Richmond United. So it's the Bloemfontein Celtic side are more than capable of securing a victory today here, Spiwe.
They are, but it's a game of football. I think if you look at my Indies, their counter-attack, how quickly they sprung to a counter-attack, it's very important. They need to perfect the moment. They need to make sure that first pass is it's important coming out from defense to attack. But with Bloemfontein Celtics, it's about combination play. It's about interplay and encourage the 1v1s on the side. I spoke about Michael on the side, and Mutlokwana on the side. It's going to bear them fruits.
Bloemfontein Celtic once again with the corner, this time on the other side of the field. It's an outswinger this time, trying to find a head there on the near post, not quite managing to do so. Now finding my Indies, and it's that number 17, Mfati. All the way back to the goalkeeper, some pressure applied from my Indies, but the goalkeeper ever so calm, ever so composed. Moletsana in the face of adversity. Lovely work there, slowing down the play and eventually pouncing. Nicole Michael interested there. Very good work there from Taledi to intervene, exiting her own box, exiting her comfort zone and coming out and clearing very well there.
You can see the exchange. I mean, the amount of time they spend on the ball, it's very less rate. It's important that both teams need to try to secure ball position. If it doesn't happen, there's nothing wrong with the restart. You can restart if it doesn't happen.
Throw does go in and back out. Ntuana on the other side of the field. Play definitely slowing down. The game did start with a bang. It did start on fire, both teams, but now it seems as if both teams are establishing some sort of a comfort zone in the game, but only time can tell. As soon as you get comfortable in a game of football, anything can happen.
I think you need to pay tribute to the fact that both teams have played Wednesdays. I spoke about individual periodization. Remember, individually we respond different from the stresses and the bouts of actions. So coaches were speaking about the players are not sharp because of the games that they've played on Wednesday. But obviously, you can see the momentum is building up because as the game progresses, you can see that the momentum is going up now.
Mohlekwana there, hitting the ball out, and 2 minutes have been added. And now, and shot on goal. Maybe a cross there, but no runners there trying to get at the end of that cross. Still a minute and a half to play here in Bloemfontein Celtic. Maybe one last chance in the form of Mohlekwana or Nicole Michael. Shout for a throw-in, and it is in fact a Bloemfontein Celtic throw-in. The coaching staff, Tatu and Cambridge must be wondering and questioning maybe what subtle changes to make in that second half. But before we get there, maybe one final chance for Bloemfontein Celtic to bowl to the net. And she's through, yeah. Oh. One more minute to play, a couple of seconds to survive for my Indies. They do need to do so. And eventually running out of room there did the young defender. I think it was Nisi there, just running out of room. And wriggled free. A pass in field, Bloemfontein Celtic, surely. Going wide, going over the bar. Hit on the ground. She can't quite believe the miss there. And I think it's a star player, Mohlekwana, in probably the ideal position she would want to be in.
I think if you look at this action, Mohlekwana had the amount of time to receive and pick a spot because the good cross coming from the left. She had so much time on her side. She needed to receive and pick up the spot. But you can see she was rushing, going through emotions. Sometimes the players, when you get to that, we call it the kitchen. If you get into that area, you need to be able to calm yourself down.
Bloemfontein Celtic now in the possession of Mainis and Mnisi, who puts it forward. There's some interested runners, mostly the likes of Tsabogo Mnisi. Right forward there, playing well with the right back there, communicating very well. But that is that, ladies and gentlemen. It brings an end to the first half's action. The first half has most definitely given us something to ponder during the halftime break. Nicole Michael going very close and just there in the gasp of the first half. The final stages, Mohlekwana going wide, finding herself in the 18-yard area when perhaps she had the time to take it down, find the touch and slot it away with the left foot, but not quite. We live and die by facts here, ladies and gentlemen, and the facts are it's still 0-0 here at Global Park in Bethlehem. We'll just have to wait and see what these teams can muster up in the second half and what the coaching staff could potentially change, whether that be tactics or personnel. And just a recap of the stature: 8 shots on goal for Bloemfontein Celtic. 6 of those have been on target, only 2 for my Indies. So definitely, though, the more defensive side. The possession does indeed reflect that, 56% in favor of Bloem Celtic. A yellow card was shown to my Indies, a number of offsides as well as corners. So the opportunities are there to win this game, but both sides haven't quite managed to grasp those chances just yet. Please do join us again, ladies and gentlemen, for the second half's action here live from Global Park in the beautiful Bethlehem City in the Free State.
Today is going to be a big day.
What if today you score that winning try?
Wow, today can be a big day.
With Aquafresh confidence, today can be a big day.
Shop ShopRite's Extra Savings Card is giving instant cash savings to over 50 million members with every swipe. Keep swiping to save on Clover Numel Full Cream Milk Blend for only $9.99 and Champion French Bologna for just $49.99. Plus, now you can swipe to pay when you link your Extra Savings Card to your free money market account. Only at ShopRite.
Change is like a holiday.
Switch and earn up to 75% cash back for driving well, less, or not at all.
Do your thing.
Get back change.
So many dishes.
Zimbindaba at Dishwashing Stadium. It's Greece versus Sunlight's triple action power. Kukhalichi Babo on deck. Igreece Yapuma. Wasala shine. One dish remaining. Sunlight wins!
Triple action power. Sunlight. More than you expect.
So, it's mucus hypersecretion of the upper respiratory tract causing rhinosinusitis and upper respiratory.
He leads. It feels like there's a hippopotamus on my head.
Similarly, the pulmonary ventilation is compromised by mucus in the chest.
Being gripped by a sumo racer.
What you need is a great tasting once daily mucolytic that breaks down mucus and helps to get it out.
Take great tasting once daily triple strength Amico 600 for effective mucus relief and the lift you need.
That's amazing.
Amico 600, the once daily fizz that clears the fuzz. You are what you fill up on. Fill up on showing up. Fill up on timeless moments every time. Fill up on turn up.
Well, after 45 minutes of play at the Global Park in Bethlehem, it is still a goalless stalemate between Bloem Celtic ladies and, of course, my Indies. I am Xoli Zonda, still joined by our analyst, Usimpiwe Dludlu, Gloria Brown. A very interesting 45 minutes that we saw there. Nothing quite separating the sides at the halftime break.
The biggest factor is energies will always drop, especially because of the principles of match recovery and rest. It's 3 days now in between, and some have to travel far. Celtics come from traveling they don't find enough time to cover each other and clear their lines with height and distance. So right now it's a 4-5-1 up against the 4-3-3 of Celtics and Ima Indies. It's and she says they are on it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm quite impressed with my Indies. They've got nice height and they use it to great advantage. Corners, if you look at it, it's 3 apiece. And it's from standard situations that I think they could get one over Bloem Celtic.
Also sitting on a yellow card is Uchigubu for my Indies. Should be wary now into the second stanza.
I doubt, as a player in the midfield, that's exactly what she's brought in for. Just destabilize and not allow the free passage of Bloemfontein Celtic.
Well, the good news is that the players are now on the field of play. Let's take you through to our commentary team, Rekun, Tulimiya, and Spiom Kons.
Asibonge ke kakhulu ke e-studio ke sisho sithi ke mbukeli sila eGoble Park e-stadium Hollywood Bet Super League namhlanje ke sidlala ke round 9 njengoba ke usuku lwanamhlanje luzoshona ke wonke amaqembu edlale ke imidlalo ke eyisishiyaga alolunye iSundowns iyona ke esazihola ke laphana ke phambili laphana ke ekuyona ke iloge kuyapheka nje la njengoba ke ebuyile ke amaqembu ukuthi ke iliphi ke elifuna ke ukwenza ke ushintsho ekubona ke womabili ke la amaqembu ngibona ngathi ke bafuna ukufaka ke yena ke laphana ke uMahoro abayo ke ama Indies Celtic ngiyayibona futhi ke ngapha ke ukuthi ke ifuna ke ukwenza ushintsho ke womabili amaqembu afuna ke ukwenza ke inguquko siyeke ekhefini besithi ke not Celtic not iyona ke laphana ke ama Indies yebo ke uzongena ke yena ke laphana ke uMahoro ozongena ke futhi ke naye laphana ke uRapata ekulona ke iqembu ke layo ke laphana ke iBloemfontein Celtic yabona ke iSundowns iyona ke ezihola ke laphana ke phambili 24 points bese kuthi ke JBW abana 20 points number 3 khona ke ezikathina sonke iUWC bana 20 points naluke ushintsho olokuqala ke lomdlalo olwenziwa ke iyona ke ima Indies mayithe Mahoro ayamkhipha manje ke uShamiso Omutasa ophuma ke engena goli kodwa ke ngomdlalo kodlule ke ube nalo ke igoli yena ke laphana ke uShamiso ushintsho futhi olweCeltic olokuqala ke elomdlalo Mulepo Rapasa oyena ke ongena ke laphana ke enkundleni ke uzalwa ke eMamelodi yena ke laphana ke uMolepo njengoba ke isiqiniseko sosiko ke laphana ke ebhodini ke kusewuyena ke not ema Indies iqede ke isombe ke esoqala ithanda ke ukuvakasha ke epalini ke lakhe lapha omoletsane asazi ke lesombe ke sesibili nalezi nguquko ke Dr Mnandi ukuthi ziletha luphi ke ushintsho bathini manje uthini umyalezo wabaqeqeshi ngalezi nguquko
imqondo yabo coach kuyabonakala ukuthi ithi isipoko phela phambili I mean bawuqinisile amabhawuti uma ngabheka from the first half balungisile zonke ingabe fanele babazilungise so manje babuya ku second half obvious ama changes uRapata ungena obvious out number 9 uzodlala phambi kwa Michael Zomutlokwana so abacoaches bafuna uyakuqinisile bafuna igoli endile lokuthola igoli
ebhola ke nali ke lingene ke boxini kodwa oyalibamba uthula ke nalo ke uthileti ngiyamthanda uGoldpa uthileti ibhola nje ulibamba lithule lithi du akazenzi nje lezi esibuye sizibone ke senziwa ko goalkeeper angathi ibhola ke linameva liyahlaba cha yena nje noma liphansi noma liphezulu ubuya nalo lithule ke lithi du umqeqeshi la Thato Haraba oyena ke lo wayo ke iCeltic uqeda ke kwenza ke ushintsho uyabona ukuthi ke izinto azihambi ke ngohlelo ke abelihlelile omdlalo ke ekade ke uqala njengoba ke eselwenzile ke ushintsho uyabona uma ubheka ilogi alikho ke iqembu manje elingakashawa kule season eSundowns ebayishaya eCape Town iUWC JVW nayo ke ishawe ke iSundowns isolo lokhu nje nawe ke bekuyilusi ke yokuqala bese kuba ke UWC nayo futhi inelusi ke eyodwa nayo futhi iCeltic ishawe ke kanye ishawe ke iyona ke iSundowns ngawo ke u2-0 wonke ke amaqembu aneluzi manje ke eduze ke kwegama lawo kanti ke mawubheka nje lapha ezansi amathathu ke amaqembu asibone nje le free kick iphuma nje kude amabheka laphana ke ngasemsileni khona amaqembu nje amathathu awabhalisile wini eduze ke kwegama amagoli bayawadedela ngikhuluma ke ngetsunami ishayiwe ishawa ke iDurban Ladies namhlanje kuyona ke lenkundla ngo3-1 iyaphinda ke nayo ke iCity Ladies njengoba ke ihlezi ke ku number 15 ayinayo ke iwini esilethe ke iqembu ke elifikayo ke njenga neVasco da Gama umehluko iVasco isinqobile ke imidlalo ke yabambili egcineni khona ke iGolden Ladies nayo ke futhi iwini ayiyazi banama lose awu7 banama draw amabili emidlalweni ke eyu9 bahlezi emsileni eGolden Ladies kuthiwa ke akaliphoste ukapteni Viola Ndlovu 32 years yena ke lapha uViola oyaliphosa abayalithatha Celtic yalungisa manje ke singini ke center Sibongile Ntowana 19 years wasesibukeng Celtic iyabuya manje ke ibhola ke libuya ke nomdlali ke obeyiphele endlebeni ngesombe ke sokuqala uNicole Michael obe uhlupho ngempela eshintsha inhlangothi ke yena ke uNicole Michael njengoba ke iflag liphakama kothiwa ke kukhona ke iOffside bayaliphakamisa abafuna ke uMohlakwana ama offside mathuma Indies amabili ke kulona ke iqembu ke elayo ke iCeltic ephase okhwadi yale ku goalkeeper ake uthola ke yena ke uMoletsane ema Indies ke kuthiwa ke ayibuye ke izoliphosa noma ke iCeltic kuthiwa ke ayiliphose oyaliphosa ke ephana ke Priscilla awuphesa laphinde ke elonakala futhi ke ibhola yabona abaqeqeshi bami ngenyawo bobabili akekho ke ohlezi ke phansi ebhola ke lide kodwa ke uyavimba emuva ke laphana ke uPurity Mugayi oshaya ke igoli ke ngesikhathi ke bedlala ke enema Indies i-throw in iCeltic Shibobo ebhola ke elaseke elimceza lahamba ke la ke laphana ke ku goalkeeper nomtheke Mohlakwana ulibuyisela ke emuva ezamhlela izinto manje iCeltic elide ke ibhola kodwa ke eliyavalwa unompempe nangu ke ekhuza uthi ke khona ophushayo ngaleyo ndlela ke ifree kick ibekwa phansi enikezwa ke iyona ke iBloemfontein Celtic uMohlakwana ke wonke ama set pieces athathwa uyena la kulomdlalo namanje ke uyena ke lo ophezukwalo ke leliya bhola nangesombe sokuqala uyena obe wathatha asibonele ukuthi ke ufuna ke ukuyenza njani uyayiphakamisa ke ufuna Nicole bamthola uNicole wayibeka ngale ngawesokudla nali ibhola elihle oyalibamba uthula nalo ke goalkeeper umonye eThiledi oyayiqhatha uThiledi yaluwina futhi ke iCeltic iyacontrol umdlalo iCeltic Priscilla Pesa oyayivala uyaqalaza abanikeza ke manje ke lapha Sibongile Ntowana bayamphuca ke yena ke uNtowana bazama ke lapha ugoalkeeper bambona ukuthi ukude nepali kodwa belingeke lingene leliya noma esethanda beliyoziphumela nje eceleni kodwa ke ivision
indlela ama-team acikana ngayo bakhanselana each other ngakhona how they counter press uyabona ukuthi akudlaleki akuhlangani nama-5 touches ebholweni every time i-team ithola ibhola Thuli i-position sebayiluzile ama-goalkeeper have been doing so well namhlanje uTheledi noMletsane you can see positioning yabo how they command their defense and i-team ayiphethe ibhola you can see they're also part of ukurecycle ibhola so it's a good game but ama-team ayakhanselana namhlanje ayacika iqanga
ayakwazi ke nokudlala ke ngeenyawo zakhe ke uTheledi ugoalkeeper eyamshaya first balithatha ke abayo ke ima-Indies asibone ke ijubane ke lakhe lapha achikumbu obefuna ke sehlabo ke ibhola ke laseke liphumela ke ngaphandle othiwa ke alibuye ke kuzoba ke elayo futhi ima-Indies oyahamba ke uya ke ebholeni ke uyoliphosa amadembe echikumbu omunye ke wabadlali ke ababalekile kule qembu elema-Indies njengoba ke esenamagoli ke amathathu egameni ke lakhe i-throw in ende evinjwa nje kalula ke ivinjwa ke iyona ke lapha iCeltic asibone manje ke majubane Mohlakhwana uyiveza kamnandi labuyela kuyena Mohlakhwana awutry ibuyisa futhi kodwa ke wasevimba kahle kakhulu oPurity amugayi ke akatatazeli yena ke laphana ke uPurity amugayi 2 goals egameni yakhe yena ke umugayi akutibili phansi iflag walaphinde ke nangeliphakamisa ke laphana ke umsisi ke kaNompempe uthiwa ke sekukhona ke i-offside angibona ngathi ke uphakamisa late kodwa ke le flag nangu no goalkeeper waphele ke wahlala phansi
you have to be sure nge-offside to you fanele uwenze isiqiniseko sokuthi uphakamisa iflag ngesikhathi esi-right and also futhi uzoyibona nge-slow motion ukuthi at the time ibhola abadlala uyibheke kahle ukuthi bayidlala behind the defense and ama-player were on side so kuzoba i-situation where ucommissioner ukhulume indaba ukuthi babhizi ngama-workshop bazosiza abo-assistant when it comes to lama-offside situation because sometimes the timing yebabulalayo but other than that umsebenzi usayenziwa khona
ohlezi phansi ke uTheledi ugoalkeeper owenze ke ama-save awu-9 kulo mdlalo awukakapheli asazi ke ukuthi ke uzophela ke esenze ke umsebenzi ke omngakanani kodwa ke so far so good array ke ugoalkeeper ke wayo ima-Indies.
And as the hour mark approaches, the scoreboard has witnessed no change, and it's still scoreless here between Celtic and Mainis. As we can see, Theledi there with somewhat of a knock to her left arm. She does seem okay. Just a bit of water, a bit of ice, a bit of stretching, and she is back on her feet, and we are expected to get underway once more. 55 minutes gone. Celtic and Mainis still both not able to break that deadlock just yet. As a free kick here deep within their own half, Chikumba punts it upfield, and they win the second ball here. But to Mainis, they are through, and just eventually running out of room there. But it must be said that the Sundowns and JVW rivalry at the top of the table has definitely captured the hearts and imaginations of many throughout this season, with both teams going into yesterday's encounter with no losses to their name, in saying that the encounter did live up to its expectation, with the goal fest taking place in Groenkloof, but it was the league leaders who picked up the 3 points and took that big step towards defending their Hollywood Bets Super League title.
If you look at Sundowns, I think for me what's important is about the uniqueness of Sundowns. They got a loss against UWC, and I could see from the coach and the players that they were worried. It's the first time they experienced a loss. So it's about how do you come up from from that loss. But you see now, Sundowns are back on top of the log. You can see the culture of winning. They know how to win Sundowns. Yes, sometimes some losses are meant for progression. It helped them, that loss. So Sundowns now, you can see every game they are about to play. You can see from the mental preparation and obviously with the focus itself.
Definitely following similar suit to that of the PSL. Both Sundowns men and ladies holding that number 1 position in the elite level of South African football, as Chikumba scratches it away, hoofs it with her left foot, and it breaks again for the captain, Viola Ndlovu, all the way to the other side of the field now with Mnisi, who tries to find a pass there. A long ball goes to the substitute now, Magoro. And Bloemfontein Celtic eventually dealing with that threat there. It was in fact early on in the week that Banyana coach Desiree Ellis announced the preliminary squad for the 2022 AFCON women's side. But as soon as I get to that point, a substitution here. And it might be just the right time to make a substitution with the hour mark. A lot of coaches do wait for that hour mark before they make, especially changes in the midfield.
Just coming up from the halftime, obviously you look at your technical tweaks, you tweak your tactics and adjust your tactics. But then if nothing happens, that's when you resort to a sub. So you can see the hour mark has passed. Both coaches are going for obvious refreshed personnel. So it's important that as a coach you need to be able to identify and be able to read the game. You can see the subs sometimes they are made just out of emotion, but I'm happy with the coaches thus far because now they don't just make a sub.
And a goal kick forward from the young goalkeeper Moletsane. Taking their time here on my Indies. Trying to spot some sort of weakness in that Bloemfontein Celtic defense. They haven't quite been as open as maybe the Maindies side would have expected, but Bloemfontein Celtic most certainly do pride themselves on gaining those clean sheets and picking up those clean sheets. But it's up to Maindies now to find some sort of a deadlock. But the gaps are being plugged by Bloem Celtic really well. But back to that national team news. The team is heading to the Continent Showpiece event, showcasing an array of talent from across the nation and abroad, with many hailing from the reigning champions, both domestic and continental, in Mamelodi Sundowns. So do keep your eye out for the Banyana side when they travel to Morocco. But unfortunately, none of the players here on show today did make that Banyana side. But if anything, it might just spur them on to find something deeper within themselves and perhaps find something that wasn't there and bring up their skill level and, in essence, the whole league with it as well.
You talk about the national team. I feel sorry for Tezishime. He has to make the call with regards to Andisi Umtoy. I think for me that she's been getting goals consistently, and obviously suits the cup competition. You know how you need a striker to be very robust, dynamic, and obviously she's very forceful and she scores goals. So Desiree has to make a big call sometimes to be a coach.
The Banyana side, obviously, and of course, going just short the last time, losing in a penalty shootout. So they'll be hoping to go one step further and bring home the coveted trophy back to South Africa. But our attention remains here at Global Park. Bloemfontein Celtic will be desperate to defend their position, fifth place on the log, and prevent Maindies from shooting ahead of them in the Hollywood Bet Super League. But they charge down here. Bloemfontein Celtic just might be in, twisting and turning, and eventually running out of room. Maindies, Tabana there, attending to the task at hand very well. Talede getting rid. Makua clearing out, and it is in fact a Maindies throw on the opposite side of the field there. And it seems as if the Bloemfontein Celtic players, especially the attacking line, the likes of, I mentioned, Nicole Michael and Motlekwa, they're a bunch of tigers in a cage just waiting to be released, but we just haven't seen it quite yet.
And they've become predictable now. They need to that prominent interchange of position to reduce that element of being predictable. So I think that's why second half they even started so well. They think they need to do that interchangeability of possession to reduce that element of being predictable.
Now we'll throw once more for Chikumba. A long throw into the box. They might just get it here if it falls for one of the Mainly players, but not quite. And it's cleared forward. Bloemfontein Celtic, little nutmeg there. Still stringing some passes together right in the heart of the midfield, and nutmeg attempted once again. Not quite coming off there for Ntwana, but it's moved forward. Flag does go up. It'll be interesting to see. We have seen offside calls being incorrect, so it'll be interesting to see if they got it right that time.
Yeah, we'll have to see from the offside camera. So, but obviously, I think so far, I thought the assistant, they've been trying so hard. They've been working so hard when it comes to these offside situations.
Nisi tries to find a strike partner in Bochum. Nisi not quite managing to do so. Now in the heart of the midfield, now it's Nicole Michael. Can she perhaps break the deadlock? If it's anyone from Bloemfontein Celtic today, it just might be her. She puts in the cross. Bloemfontein Celtic still with their foot on the gas. Putting it in now. Mainly's holding on tight. Yeah. And eventually clearing it upfield. And as I can see it there on the side of the field, Sipho Mbuza willing on his players to get upfield and exit their own half and not be pegged back by Bloemfontein Celtic.
How structured my Indies are. It's difficult to catch them on the counter-attack. It's difficult to catch them. I mean, every time you look at, they do a double marking on a Celtic player. That is why now they've seen that Michael is very dangerous when it comes to 1v1. So there's a double marking that they try to apply. They're very structured, very disciplined. They're very mean defensively. That is how you need to defend. All they need to now to connect are winning the ball from defense to attack. Because you can see the struggle when it comes to Magoro. They're trying to play the ball to Magoro for her to secure the ball for numbers to join between Umnisi and Fati.
Another injury here for Bloem Celtic. Center midfielder Ntwane. Number of injuries for this Bloemfontein. So they had to have dealt with these injuries throughout the season. Not only there, as you can see, a number of players out for Bloemfontein Celtic, but on the field now, and Ntwane, a key feature in the center of the park for Bloem Celtic.
And I like what the coach said to me before the game. He spoke about how precaution he takes, especially the small knocks, because the games are coming thick and fast. Wednesday, Sunday. So he'll want to have his full pool of his squad. So if the player's got a knock or individual periodization, he immediately says to the player, rest, because we want you to be fully fit.
Making her way off the field now, clearly in some discomfort. Seems as if it might be her Achilles heel or the calf. I'm not quite too sure. But a long throw in here for Chikumba once more. A specialist from the throw-in set piece, some would say.
Throw in iyayo ke ma-Indies. Njengoba ke manje ke singena ku-25 minutes ke wokugcina sibone nje le bhola ke ebhoksini kodwa hayi ke liphuma ke kude ke namapali ke bekuzama uChabalala ngakwesokunxele 26 years i-left back ekade ethi bona ngibulale ibhola ke alangashayeka kahle lona beligcwele lona kodwa ke alishayekanga kahle ukuthi ke liye ke laphana ke epalini yabona ke namhlanje makukuthi ke iCeltic edlala ke i-draw kuzobe kuyi-draw yesithathu ngoba ke badlala i-draw umdlalo ke wabo ke wokuvula isizini ne-UWC umdlalo ke waphela ngo-not baphinda ke badlala ke i-draw ka-not ne-TUT namanje ke izinto ke zikhomba ke kanjalo ukuthi kunzima ke ukuthi ke balithole ke igoli ke namhlanje kodwa isikhathi sisekhona asibone ke la uNicole iphele endlebeni ungena ebhoksini uNicole Michael yathi uvalela phakathi kodwa ke liphuma ke eceleni kwepali angazi noma beyikhona yini option yokuthi agobe noma beku-right ukuthi azame ukukhahlela epalini.
Naye yasibonisa i-option Julie ibhola bayishintsha location badlala on the right hand side. At least engela imvumeli ukuthi angaya direct epalini. She could have played Muhlokwane on the other side. Bekana option la the nearest option, but if option beyikhona bekungalo Muhlokwane, but engel bengamvumeli ukuthi aye direct.
awuhlezi phansi ke ugoalkeeper awushaye ke laphana ke epalini ke yena ke umone ethiledi bayangena ke bazombheka ke yena ke uthiledi yabona ke la oThembi ona 22 years unegoli ke elodwa ubedlala ke eqenjini iTsunami eyona ke edliwe ke wona ke lo ayike laphana ke eThembi emunyuka ongena ke kulomdlalo ke izinto ke ezinzima kodwa ke unama assist ngempela ke yena ke amabili wonke kulo season yena ke uThembi yabona ama tackles awukuthi ke emangakanani kanti ke neskill futhi esisibonile ke ngempela ke kulomdlalo abadlali ke besikhombisa ngempela ukuthi ke yini ke abayiphethe orapasa laphana ongene ke ngesombe ke esesibili njengoba ke esala phansi usibili ugoalkeeper uyaqhubeka ke nawo ke umdlalo oshintsho uyaphuma Dinewo Mfati Korobele Tsepangi uyangena oshintsho ke olwenziwa ke uyena ke umqeqeshi Sipho Mabuza ethemba usalokhe nalo njalo yena ke laphana ke umqeqeshi esingini ke esesenta manje anomonde nomcheke ebhola ke lead abafuna ke laphana ke uViola aliphakeme iflag othiwa ke sekukhona ke i-offside libekwa phansi ke ibhola ke kuthiwa ke abalisuse abayo ke laphana ke ama-Indies emuva ke uyalisusa Chikumpu othiwa ke akathi ukuhlehla ke kancane ke yena ke uChikumpu njengoba ke ezoyisusa ke leya free kick Chikumpu ke manje uyaliphakamisa alide ke ibhola ke kodwa ke liphuma nje kude ke namapali eqembu ke elayo ke iCeltic akho lokho ekhombe njalo umqeqeshi Sipho Mabuza yabona ke mawubheka ke imidlalo yeCeltic mangabe ke ebedlula ke kulomdlalo bazodlala ke neJVW ezikhotha amanxeba njengoba ke ilimele izolo ke idliwa ayayinhle iphasi ekaMohlakwane ifuna ke Michael Nicole nange efuna ukudlula ngenkani uNicole kodwa ke wase ke evala ke emuva ke kamnandi kakhulu kuvala ke uChabalala awuxiluva Celtic izodlala ke neJVW lesithathu idlala ke ekhaya ke layo ke iJVW ebese ke badlale ke neGolden Ladies emva kwalokho badlale ke neFirst Touch iwona ke indlalo ke elandelayo ke iyalo ke iqembu leCeltic iyanali ibhola ke elihle futhi beliswitcha nje kamnandi beyivula inkundla ngene boxini manje asibone ke liyabuyiswa leli bhola oyavimba ugoalkeeper liyamphunyuka yabuya futhi ke iCeltic uyena ke lapha Priscilla Pesa ayenali ithuba lapha walibamba ugoalkeeper amonye ethiledi yabona ke la uthiledi mangase kuthiwa ngempela uyena omile epalini ukuthi iCeltic ishaye igoli ngoba ngoqhathanisa ugoalkeeper Dr Mnandi uyena osebenza kakhulu kulomdlalo
sebenza kakhulu but sometimes mina ngithi ugoalkeeper makasebenza kakhulu kufanele ka-organize i-defense yakhe because goalkeeper amanga-organize i-defense uzowenza wonke ama-save but uThelele has been doing so well. I mean, look at lama-saves awenzayo but we must give tribute ku-positioning yakhe and umanda kanjani i-defense yakhe. You can see akunapanic akajahanga uzithele ngamanzi
ilona ke lebhola ke lakhe la uNzapesa ebuza nje ekude awukho wase ke elibamba ke laphana ke ugoalkeeper omunye ethiledi ngibona ngathi ke khona ke olunye ke ushintsho esizolubona ke laphana ke benchini ke layo ke iCeltic oshintsho eyashintsha iCeltic Mfukeng uyangena yeho Mfukeng bayamkhipha ke uSibongile Antowana 19 years ke uyaphuma manje obedlala ke laphana ke eswini ke noNomonde Nomtsheke Madembe Chikumbu uphezulu kwebhola ama-free kick sike sawabona eshawa kuyona ke lesizini ke eHollywood asibone nje la oNomtsheke ukuthi ebhola ke lakhe lenze njani kodwa liphuma kude kakhulu unamapali
lola shintsho umqeqeshi ufuna ufuna ukuyeda number 10 ayithi Mukwali noMfukeng, so ufuna ukukhipha ama-half spaces to try to increase obviously nama-chances ukuthi bathole igoli. Half spaces now, you can see two number 10s bazodlala close to Umhlokwana.
Yabuya ima-Indies ebhola bayaphakamisa kodwa ke alifiki la belithumela khona Luva Chabalala yavimba nje uMfukeng engena nje khona manje elithi ibhola Mfukeng elifuna uMohlakwane bamthola kamnandi uMohlakwana uyagodla akaphasi baze bamphuce wasevela yena ke lapha Lorraine Mokhwale eshintsha inkundla iyangale ngakwesokunxele usawuyena ke lapha uNomonde Nomtsheke kodwa ke liyonakala ke ibhola layo ke la Bloemfontein Celtic jersey number 10 ongene ke khona manje Maite Makoro ongene ke endaweni ke kaShamiso Mostasa onegoli ke elodwa ke kuyona ke ama-Indies asibone nangu goalkeeper ke esikaza kodwa ke wasefika futhi ke eliphakamisa ke ibhola uyabhimba ngekhanda Viola Ndlovu throw in ezothathwa ke iyona ke iCeltic yaliphosa kodwa liyonakala ke leliya bhola elayo ke laphana ke iCeltic
last week ngikhulume into important nge-speed se-game. I think if ubheka kahle abosisi bayidlala ku-under 3 seconds receiving and decision making and passing, so kuyasho ukuthi abosisi abocoach sebawenza umsebenzi wabo because i-game now seyithatha esinye speed, so the amount of receiving, passing and decision making, it's played under 3 seconds manje. You can see umuntu uyi-exchange yebhola to the next player, it's a very quick manje.
And Nicole Michael ushiyeke kuyena ke Lorraine kodwa ke iyavimba leya defense yayo ke ima-Indies base ke beshayisana ke kabuhlungu abadlali ke enkundleni ke ngamakhanda bashayisana ke kabuhlungu abadlali ke laphana ke enkundleni uMokotha uJanet ongene ke ngekhanda ke kuyena laphana ke uKidibone Mnisi onompempe ke kwamphoqa ukuthi ke akabize ke abosizo lokuqala ke ngokusheshsha kodwa ke singena ku 15 minutes okugcina iscore namanje say not
To do with 75 minutes passing and 15 or so minutes to go, we are still scoreless here and we are still missing a goal in this encounter between Bloem Celtic and MA Ladies. Once again, another player out injured. Head-on collision. No malicious intent. The Bloem Celtic player clearly showing on her face that it wasn't intended, but nonetheless, the damage was done and there is a player down. And she's now making her way off the field. As we can just see a highlight of some of Nicole Michael's work this afternoon. Dancing boots have been on show in some instances, as you can see there. A couple of silky skills, as I mentioned, the dancing in and out, but the most important thing is
ball in the net.
The ball in the net, and we just haven't seen that this afternoon as Bloem Celtic punted forward now to Mohlakwana. They now have a throw-in, and it's their star player now who is taking that throw-in on the far side of the field. Now with a substitute, Rapatsa, the ball in. And an improv header there, not quite finding the target. But Bloem Celtic, there's still a lot of football to be played. 13 minutes to go. Maybe crosses. We've seen that Bloem Celtic are a side to punt the ball on the flanks, but maybe crosses is something that they can implement.
Yes. I think really also what's important is this one-size-fit approach doesn't work. Both teams are using the 4-3 setup, but it's about the principles. It's about the variation. So if you're a coach, you need to innovate. You need to come up with a plan on making sure that how you break the opposition defense. So you can see both teams, the coaches, now this is a game of fundamentals. It's going to be separated by individual brilliance.
And Bloem Celtic will be certainly hoping that Mohlakwana or Nicole Michael can provide that piece of brilliance. But it has to be said, the centre-back partnership of Mugai as well as Tabana in the heart of that MA Indies defence has rather kept these attacking threats from Bloem Celtic at bay throughout today. But still, all of your hard work up until the 90th minute can come undone with a moment of weakness. If you switch off in 1 second, you can be punished in the game of football. But this league was, of course, formed and rebranded in the year of 2019, so it is still a relatively new league. So a lot of progress and a lot of work still needs to be done. But South African football definitely celebrated here today as he's put through. Michael just slightly interested there and eventually cleared from Teledi. Almost a dangerous moment there for MA Indies, and it goes back to that goalkeeper. She's worked very well today, the Teledi, in between the sticks.
She does very well, especially when it comes to becoming a super keeper. Remember, goalkeepers now need to be able to be good with their feet, especially when your team is recycling in ball position. She's very good, she's very solid, and I just like how she communicates, and she doesn't panic. If the attack comes, you can see she's very calm.
Bloem Celtic now, some pressure applied to Pesa. And to the disgust of the crowd and the coaching staff, a throw is given for MA Indies. MA Indies now, Chakumba. I beg your pardon, it's Shabalala there, number 12 on the back of her jersey, the left back. She'll be hoping to maybe influence proceedings as we enter into the final 10 minutes here in Bethlehem, the final 10 minutes of today's action. Just a recap of the earlier result. It was indeed Durban Ladies coming off and coming away with a 3-1 away victory against Tsunami Queens, and my Indies will be hoping to replicate the exploits of fellow travelers as it's thrown in once again. Pesa losing out there, and is a throw once more. And as you can see there, the coach Sipho Mabuza asking his players what they're doing so deep within their own half.
I think if you look at it's 88 minutes, he was talking about they normally concede between those times. So he's happy with the output today from the, especially defensively. They've been considered yet. They just need to keep the focus, because sometimes you get carried away because things are going well.
Bloem Celtic with a long ball forward. They've broken through. Yeah, just a square pass might do it. She decided to go on her own. Straight to the goalkeeper. Straight down the throat of Teledi. Relatively simple save for the lady in pink, and a chance just like that for Bloem Celtic.
Yeah, it's a flick for Mokwali if you look at it. But Motlokwana should have done better in that situation. Obviously, there was no way she can pass there. She's already facing the goalkeeper, but good save from Muteledi. A well-coached goalkeeper. You can see she's very coached. I mean, how she dives, how she secures the ball. It shows that she's a well-coached goalkeeper.
15 shots for Celtic, 11 of them on target, only one on target for my Indies. So a lot of shots for Bloem Celtic. They've tasted some opportunities in front of goal, just not quite finishing it off, and that's eventually been the name of the game. But Bloem Celtic nonetheless come away with it. Jeanette Makota slots it through for Musakwana. Going back to her centre back now as Makota pumps it forward. Taledi has definitely been impressive in between those sticks, making crucial saves. And some would say some of them have been simple, but as a goalkeeper, you have to stop the ball from entering the net. As we've seen earlier on in the afternoon, Kabai, the substitute goalkeeper for Tsunami Queens, making the error and that proving the difference. But as a keeper, usually your mistake leads to a goal, and Taledi has been perfect this afternoon. Bloem Celtic wanted to take that free kick quickly, and my Indies certainly didn't allow for that to happen. Substitute there, Rapatsa holding her arm in agony. She's clearly in some sort of a discomfort. She wanted to take the free kick quickly, but my Indies charging her down, and we'll just see now on the replay.
Oh, Chikubu stamped on the hand. Chikubu stepped on the hand, yeah.
It can be a painful one, and as you can see there, Rapatsa. Oh, clever little free kick there, charging into Chikumba, and bouncing off Chikumba and rather going down in some fashion. But that maybe ponders the question. If Bloem Celtic are comfortable with the draw here. You can clearly see that they wanted to maybe take that free kick quickly, but deciding against that, and now once they got the foul, took their time, and perhaps they are happy with
it. It's a very good statement, Ray. I mean, mind is, I think they're comfortable enough with the score line, but with Celtics, the coach spoke high about he wants to redeem himself using this match in terms of the confidence, obviously bringing back that element of belief from the to the players. So with Celtics are going out for a kill, but my Indies are comfortable with the score.
It is up to my Indies now to hold on with dear life as it comes once again. Centre back Mugai clears it forwards into the midfield now. And an offside call there against, it seems as if it was Tebogo Mnisi, just drifting slightly offside. There are 5 offsides to 4 in favor of my Indies. And our clearance upfield from Melitsana. Also a captain that leads by example, and also a captain that is really putting a shift here this afternoon. Clearance there charged down by Makua. And my Indies now really taking their time, allowing the clock just to slow down just that little bit and prevent that momentum from gaining more and more momentum, I beg your pardon, for this Bloemfontein Celtic side. So they just want to slow down the progress that this Bloem Celtic team have been making.
Yabona ke lo mdlalo ke njengoba ke uya ke ngasemaphethelweni manje. Esikho ke kusayi unothi nothi kuzoba ke umdlalo ke wokuqala kule mpelasonto ozophela ke ngedraw engana goli ngoba ke izolo nje emdlalweni ke edlaliwe ke sibone 22 goals. Emdlalweni ke wokuqala namhlanje sibone ke 4 goals ngesikhathi iDurban Ladies iwina ke ngawo ke u3-1 okusho ukuthi ke lo mdlalo iwona ke umdlalo ke ozophela ke ngedraw kanothi nothi nayi ke ikhona ema Indies Chikumbu uyayiphamisa ufuna amakhanda nalithuma lapha eceleni kwepali eceleni ke kwepali ibhola ke bengithi ke balivalela ke phakathi leliya bhola ke kodwa ngibona ngathi ke kube khona ukushayisana athi sibone kahle ukuthi ke yini eyenzekile usebenzile ke lapha uLorraine Makhwali kodwa ke ibe kuyithuba lema Indies lokuthi balivalele phakathi nayi futhi ke iCeltic sala phansi uthi nompempe umdlalo oqhubeke Mohlakwana Anikholi nayo sala phansi kwathiwa umdlalo kawuqhubeke uyaqhubeka ushabalala awuyabuya ke manje ke lapha ke Lorraine Makhwali Lorraine nangena ngaphakathi ke boxini oyaliveza uvezela uMohlakwane yamshaya ifirst touch ayikakasuka ingozi eshot kude goalkeeper uyalibona ukuthi alimnikeza inkinga liphumela ke ngaphandle goal kick.
Kule yakhona yema-Indies uThabana akabonisanga ukuzithemba ukuthi ngalikora leli. I think ibhola ligcwele ey'nyaweni, but nangu ugoalkeeper wama-Indies ayotshela udlale kamnandi namhlanje. Positioning yakhe, I think ngishilo ngathi you can see she's a good well coached goalkeeper. Konje manje sesibiza nge-goal minder noma goal player, it's no longer a goalkeeper. You can see how confident she is. She's done well today.
Wenze umsebenzi omuhle ngempela ke namhlanje mangabe ke egcina ke engadedelanga goli namhlanje ke yena ke uThiledi kuzoba ke i-clean sheet yakhe yesibili kuyona ke le season njengoba ke mile ukuthi uyaqhubeka nomdlalo wenze ama-save angu-11 wonke yena ke umonye eThiledi yabona ke ima-Indies umdlalo wabo olandelayo bazodlala ke ne-Golden Ladies bese ke bahambe baye ke eThekwini bayodlala neDurban Ladies enqobile ke namhlanje emva kwalokho bazodlala ke nayo ke iCity Lets. Mahlakwane omunye futhi ke umdlali ke odlale kahle namhlanje ubebonakala ukuthi uyalifuna igoli ufuna ukwengeza kulawa ke ayisithupha anawo ambheke nje iphasi yakhe khipha kuphela nje ubumgezile nala futhi ke ubezama ukulicindezela ngesombe ke soqala ke laphuma ke phezulu kwepali Kgalebane Mohlakwane. Kothiwa abaliphose iyona ke laphana ke ima-Indies Xuluva Shabalala 26 years left back strong unejubane futhi ke yena ke laphana ke oShabalala bayaliphosa oyavimba kodwa ke umfukhenki ayaxosha ke nake lapha Janet Mukota liphumela ke ngaphandle ke igoli ke ibhola egoli ke cishe ke ngesilibone ke kulomdlalo uyaphela manje ke umdlalo amaqembu womabili ke awatholile ngempela ke amathuba kodwa ke kwana kona Nomcheke esingini se-center angelibeka phansi ke Nomcheke Mohlakwana shintsha inkundla kamnandi uMohlakwana bafuna umfukeki bamthola umfukeki nangeliphezulu umfukeki ofuna Nicole Michael kodwa goalkeeper ubhekile oyaphuma ke yena ke uyalithatha yena umonye eThiledi 90 minutes sibheke ukuyihlanganisa Dr. Mnandi vele ugoqe lo mdlalo ngoba vele manje ilanga lishonile lishonele sonke inthina ngapha amaqembu nawo ke liyawashonela isikhathi somdlalo siyaphela.
Ima-Indies if ubheka lo mdlalo bajabule kakhulu especially ngokungaconcede, but it's a good point for i-team edlala from away ngishilo ngathi sisomuhambi singakanani, but again i-Celtics bebacabanga ukuthi lo mdlalo bazoredima ngawo babuyisa isithunzi sabo ngawo ne-confidence ye-team nje in general. So umqeqeshi kusafuneka asebenze with regards to Celtics. If ukhumbula i-Celtics last season they've done well, but now this season they're really struggling.
Elite ke ibhola ke nali ke liyawa ke laphana ke singini se-center Celtic ngempela ke kusho ukuthi ke emidlalweni ke emibili badliwe i-Sundowns namhlanje ke ngathi ke bazothola ke iphuzu elilodwa 90 minutes ihlangene kuthiwa ke kuzokwengezwa 2 minutes ayabhenguza umqeqeshi Thato Haraba ebhenjini awufuna ke igoli ke umqeqeshi othi manje ke asihlaseleni kokugcina obheke bathathela ke laphana ke center Viola Ndlovu okapteni odlale kahle kakhulu oyangu Nicole Michael yabona manje ke uginqigo Chikumbu naye uyalahla futhi ke uChikumbu oyalungisa ke manje nomonde Nomcheke ebhola ke elide asibone nje ukuthi ke uyalithola na akalitholi ke lapha Ramutho throw in iyaphozwa Michael ukhona umdlalo ohlezi phansi anompempe uthi umdlalo uqhubeke Michael uyacrossa ibhola ufake ebhokisini ufuna ke uMohlakwana. Kodwa ke ibhola ke laseke kuthiwa ke awumeke kancane ke umdlalo. Anangu ke la ethinteke khona. Njengoba ke esukuma ke yena uMukunyu. Yasukuma ke yena ke uMunyuku. ICeltic ifuna ukwenza ushintsho kodwa umdlalo uphelile. Nangu akakholwa uLorraine Makhwana ukuthi ngempela noMpempe isikhathi siphelile. Umvezeli iwasho noMpempe uthi nje mizi ibonele isikhathi isiphelile. Umdlalo ke uyaphela ke la eGoble Park Stadium kuphela ke sithi ke not Bloemfontein Celtic not ema-Indies. Umdlalo ke obumuhle washoda ke ngawo ke amagoli ke ugoalkeeper la uMoletsane awukapteni ke naye ke umsebenzi ke wenzile ekupele epalini ke elayo ke laphana ke iCeltic yabona ukuthi bonke abadlali bema-Indies bake ku-goalkeeper bayambamba bathi ke le point esithole namhlanje imisebenzi yakho ke wena ke ethiledi kusho ke abadlali ke balo ke iqembu ke elayo ke ima-Indies iyahamba ke manje ke ibangise ke ekhaya ngoba ke kumele ke balungiselele ke umdlalo ke wabo nayo ke iGolden Ladies ehlezi ke laphana ke emsileni baningi ke abadlali ke abadlale kahle namhlanje uViola uyena komunye ke wabo uViola Ndlovu uMichael uyena futhi ke omunye odlale kahle kakhulu uMohlakwane kodwa ke ugoalkeeper ngicabanga ukuthi ke uyena ke owenzeke kangcono ke kunabo bonke namhlanje sina ke la eGoble Park besinemidlalo ke emibili lo ophela manje owesibili siqale ke ngeDurban Ladies neTsunami Queens lo mdlalo ke waphela ke ngo-3-1 njengamanje ke lo ophelayo ke ophela ke nge-draw ka-not akaneme neze umqeqeshi weCeltic uThato Haraba. Uyambona nje ukuthi ke uyabaxhawula abadlali bakhe kodwa kaneme neze ngale phuzu alithola ke lapha ekhaya ngoba ke ibona ke abadlala ke lapha ekhaya esiqinisekiso not Celtic and not ima-Indies ebekuyiyona ke evakashile kanti ke mobheka ukuthi inamba ke zithini iBloemfontein Celtic eyona ke ekade ke ine ball possession eningi 56% ku44 amakhona 3 kuyona ke iCeltic kanti ke abemane kuyona ke ima-Indies yabona ke iCeltic ukuthi beyikhahlele epalini 16 kanti ke ima-Indies yona ke yakhahlela ke kwaba ke ka5 kodwa ke thina ke la siyazigoqa ke izinto zonke siyazithatha intambo sizinikeza uMapholoba uvusiwe laphana ke ku-touchline njengoba ke esiphathele ke i-disc queen.
Ngiyabonga kakhulu kuwena Thulimia as well as Siphiwe Mkhonza and Ray Kuhn, the new man at SABC Sport, for painting such a beautiful picture of the game for us here today. But at the moment, we do have the Free State Regional Administrator for Hollywood Bets, and that is Deidre Puseleto Sisele. Siswami, please can you reveal to us the player of the match in this encounter?
The player of the match is Munyeta Lady.
Munyeta Lady doing a fantastic job in goals today for my Indies away from home. Munye, firstly, congratulations on winning player of the match. Sitshele Siswami ukuthi uzizwa kanjani nge-performance yakhe namhlanje, making all the difference for iqembu lenu.
Ke a leboga golo and nto mathomo ke rata go leboga di-coach jaaka ba kgone mpha opportunity gore ke dlale today le teammates jaaka and also my family ba bang supportang from home.
And we saw you there in goal, staying cool, calm, and collected no matter what shots were being thrown at you by Bloemfontein Celtic.
Yeah, it's all about coach, my goalkeeper coach, Coach Zizo I must stay calm, then relax, so everything then will be all right.
Well-deserved player of the match here today. Congratulations, Munye.
Thank you, Galebo.
All right, that is the player of the match in this encounter. We saw that really she was doing the work out in goals for my Indies in this encounter. And we are now joined by the home side coach, Tato Haraba. Coach, namhlanje, we did see you throwing everything at my Indies, including the kitchen sink, but just not able to find the back of the net in this one.
Yeah, honestly, I feel defeated. I feel a bit numb. I'm not angry. I'm not sad. I'm just disappointed with our decisions, especially on the third half. We created a lot of chances, but we just couldn't convert. I think if we could have played an extra 30 minutes or 20, we could have never scored in this game. It was just not our day. The luck was never on our side today.
Get that luck was not on your side today. And coach, you did want to use this game to redeem yourself following that Sundowns loss by 2-0, and also just to boost the team moving forward. But now you get your 4th draw of the season.
Yeah, honestly, you can imagine losing 3 points in the space of 4 days. It's really a step back, you know. But I'm proud of my girls. They fought the whole 90 minutes. They didn't stop, and I always encourage them to, even if you can miss 100, if you can score one and win the game, it's good. But today it's just not. It was just not happening. But moving forward, I think we'll just have to work on our finishing and also our decision making.
So, coach, is that what you're focusing on now ahead of your JVW away game as you're finishing?
Yeah, definitely, because I think at the back we are okay, in the middle of the park we are okay, but I just wish that we could have played more, have more of position, so that we can create spaces for the players. We did create chances, but I think with more of position we could have created more.
Okay, coach, hard luck here today.
Yeah,
but you do get that point.
Yeah, congratulations to my Indies.
That is Coach Tato Harabe. We're now joined by the Indies co-coach Sipho Mabuza. Coach, your thoughts on your performance at namhlanje, given that you do get to take away a point away from home in weather conditions that are not what you're used to?
Yeah, we're gonna get a point away from home is good, but our game plan worked very, very much, because we even told the players at the break and before we play the game in the morning that we cannot match them pound to pound in terms of the way they play, because they have good ball players. But the most important thing that we sit in our half, allow them to come so that we can play the ball behind them. But it could not work today. But we take the point and go and start to prepare for the game on Wednesday.
And coach, as you speak about how your game plan worked today, let's talk about how the job was done also in your goalkeeping department by the player of the match here today, Munye Teledi.
Yes, it was very much important, because even at training we told her that she must play a sweeper, so that when we are being attacked, she must come now and play for us. And we knew very well in terms of how Celtic they play on the wide, so we wanted to close them down and close them in the middle and frustrate them so that they can start the ball and give us more time to track back and defend. And the girls, they did very well, and I'm proud of them, and I'm proud of my technical team as well.
Thank you, coach. Good luck for your following game on Wednesday away to Golden Ladies.
No, thanks a lot.
That is, of course, the co-coach of my Indies, Sipho Mabuza, just talking about how their game plan worked here today. That coming into this encounter, they knew that they could not match Bloemfontein Celtic ball for ball, but for Bona Interbalegile was good. They do manage to take away that point away from home. I mean, when we look at this game holistically, really the two teams matching and cancelling each other out at every single point. And we did say Bloemfontein Celtic threw everything at my Indies, including the kitchen sink, but Munye Teledi standing there at the goalpost and saying, none of these balls are going to get past me today. I am going to walk away with a clean sheet. And that's basically how we wrap up the story of this encounter between the home side, Bloemfontein Celtic, and of course they were hosting Giyane team and for myself, Ubusiwe Ngobo, and the rest of the team out here at Gobble Park Stadium, thank you so much for tuning in. It's been amazing. Don't touch the dial. We take an ad break. After the break, it is the three ladies in studio, Xoli Zondo, Gloria Brown, as well as Coach Simpiwe Dudu, who wrap up this afternoon's encounter.